Hi, welcome back to Ask an Expert. I'm PJ from Clever Duck Inspections, and I wanted to take you through some of the cool tools that I use as a home inspector. As a home inspector, you never really know what you're going to encounter when you go through a house. So it's really important to be prepared and have all of the tools that you need as you're going through the house. Usually I'll go top to bottom when I'm looking at a house. I'll turn on all the lights, I'll run all the water, and that way anything that's happening as a result of that plumbing being run or the electricity being run, we can see that using some of these tools. A good example of that is when we're looking at roofs. When we're doing roof inspections, we're not always able to climb up on the roof. So I'll climb up on any roof that I am physically able to get up onto, but sometimes they're too steep. Sometimes they're wet. It's not safe to climb on roofing materials when they're wet. Sometimes they'll be covered with a thick layer of moss. It's not safe to climb on. And in that case, we need a drone. We'll take the drone up over the house and look at all of the roof materials. We can look down the chimney flue with this. We can look at all of the angles of all the flashing on everything with this. So that's really handy. So I like this guy. So moving inside of the house, one of the tools I use frequently is an infrared camera. And this can detect changes in temperature. And so if you've got a leak happening upstairs, if a bathtub is leaking onto the ceiling materials, it can take a while for that leak to actually become visible to the eye. But if you hit it with an infrared camera, and I'll put this up against the ceiling and see if that change in temperature is coming from moisture. That could mean that water is on those materials, because water on something will make it colder. And that's how we'll pick it up with the infrared camera. But it could also be that the air conditioning duct is close to those materials. So we want to confirm it with a moisture meter, and that way we can find out that that change in temperature is actually being caused by moisture and not from something else. And now looking at some of the other meters we have, these two meters I'll use to detect a dangerous situation or a potentially dangerous situation. So if I smell gas, I'm going to look at it with a gas meter. I'll look at the gas line and see where that leak is coming from. You can usually smell gas if it's present. They put a chemical in the gas to make it possible for you to smell it. This gas meter, in order to use it, I have to calibrate it on outside air. I'll take it outside and turn it on, let it sniff the air outside for a minute so that we're getting some air that definitely doesn't have natural gas in it. And then I'll bring it inside and let it sniff the area where I'm smelling gas. And it'll usually give me a really clear sign of where exactly that's coming from. And we can snake this into a wall if we need to. We can really look at the whole line with this. Some of the most common areas you find gas leaks are at connections to appliances. Sometimes if you have an appliance connector that goes through the wall of an appliance, that appliance wall can kind of saw away at the connector, and that's why we don't want connectors to go through appliance walls, because that can be dangerous for the line. So we want to be able to check it and see if something has happened there. Another meter I have is a carbon monoxide meter, and this is able to pick up on carbon monoxide, which is odorless. You can't see it, but it can harm you. So you want to have something that can pick up on that if you're evaluating a furnace that might be malfunctioning, an appliance, a gas appliance that might be backdrafting and sending carbon monoxide into the house. There are some signs that we can see on, like a water heater. It'll have sometimes melted plastic connections around the flue. And that's a sign that hot air is coming the wrong direction down that flue, melting that plastic. And where that heat is, carbon monoxide can follow. So we want to make sure we have something to detect that, to protect us and also to protect the homeowner. It's always really important for every home to have a functioning carbon monoxide detector in addition to your smoke detectors. And that'll tell you if there's carbon monoxide coming from a gas appliance or in through the garage door. All right, and this is one of the most fun tools that I have. This is Francine, the crawl space robot. I built this myself, as you might be able to tell. It's made out of a remote control car, a Rockhopper car, and I can use this to drive underneath a house into a crawl space. I'm always going to go into the crawl space if I'm physically able to, but a lot of crawl spaces are very, very short. They can be even that high, and so it's not possible for me to crawl into a crawl space like that. So I'll send Francine in. Francine has a GoPro. There's also a light pack that I put on the back, and I can drive her into a crawl space. So I could just have this on. Let's see. And then I'll just send her. Whoop. And there we go. And I'll send it underneath the house. So sometimes even Francine is too big for the crawl space. If that's the case, I have this little guy, and I'll put the GoPro on the front of this little car. I left the car plastic on there just because I thought it was cute. And I'll send this into attics that don't have an access I can climb into. I'll send this into really, really low crawl spaces. This comes in handy more often than you would believe. There are a lot of little spaces in a house that you want to be able to see where there are important components, and you want to be able to send a camera in. So I use this. It's important that a home inspection be thorough. And so I try and have as many tools as I need to do that job correctly and do as thorough of a home inspection as I can. Thanks for joining us. I'm PJ Smith with Clever Duck Inspections, and this has been Ask an Expert. See you next time.